Stop right now and take in my words not with your ears, but with every cell of your body. Because what I'm about to share with you is not another motivational speech. This is about the deepest transformation you will ever experience in your life. And it begins with a truth most people spend their entire lives running from. On the path to becoming who you are meant to be, you are absolutely and magnificently alone. And this is not a curse. It is your greatest blessing. Right now, as you hear these words, millions of people around the world are waiting. They are waiting for someone to come and save them, waiting for the right moment, waiting for permission, waiting for determination to knock on their door like a delivery courier. But you know what? Determination is not sold in stores. It doesn't show up at your door with free shipping and a smile. Do you want to understand the difference between those who truly change their lives and those who talk about it for years? The ones who act, not just talk, understand one key principle. The person you become depends entirely on you. And this responsibility is not a burden. It is the key to freedom. I've spent years studying human behavior, watching thousands of people try to change their lives, and I've come to a conclusion that may surprise you. People who manage to rebuild themselves do not have special genes. They don't have secret connections, massive wealth, perfect childhoods, or fairy tale conditions. They have something far more powerful. They have taken full responsibility for their transformation. Think about it. Every day, you make around 35,000 decisions. From the moment you open your eyes until the moment you fall asleep, you are constantly choosing. You choose what to think about. You choose what to focus on. You shape your opinion of yourself. You choose how to interpret everything that happens to you. You choose your reactions, your responses, your energy, your attitude, and ultimately, your destiny. But this is where most people make a mistake. They think their choices happen on their own, instead of recognizing that they are the ones making them. They become unconscious participants in their own lives, living on autopilot, repeating the same behaviors, making the same decisions, getting the same results, and then wondering why nothing changes. I'm here to pull you out of that state. I'm here to remind you of what you already know but have forgotten. You're not a victim of circumstances. You are the creator of your experience. And if you don't like what you've created, you have the power to tear it down and start again. The first thing you must understand about rebuilding yourself is that it requires the ability to feel confident while being uncomfortable. Most people avoid discomfort like a disease, but discomfort is the currency of growth. Every time you feel uncomfortable, your nervous system is telling you are entering new territory. Your brain is saying, this is not what we usually do. And that is exactly where growth happens. Your brain is designed to keep you safe, not successful. Its job is to keep you alive, not help you thrive. So when you begin to change, it will resist. It will throw at you every excuse, fear, and seemingly logical reason just to pull you back to the familiar. This is not a flaw. It is a survival mechanism that served our ancestors well. But in the modern world, the most dangerous predator is often your own thinking. When I talk about rebuilding yourself alone, I don't mean isolating yourself from people. I mean stopping the search for external approval, motivation, permission, and answers that are actually inside you. You must build a relationship with yourself strong enough to become your own best friend, mentor, coach, and greatest ally. Most people have a complicated relationship with themselves. They speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to someone they love. They make promises to themselves and break them immediately. They set goals and sabotage their own progress. They know what they need to do to improve their life and still don't do it. And then they wonder why they stop trusting themselves. Trust is something you must earn even with yourself. Every time you keep a promise you made to yourself, you deposit into your trust account. Every time you break it, you withdraw from it. Most people live with a negative balance. That's why they don't believe in their ability to change. But here's the good news. You can start rebuilding that balance right now with small actions. Drink the amount of water you promised yourself today. Walk for at least 5 minutes if you plan to walk. Read 1 page if you intended to read. It may seem insignificant, but it isn't. This is the foundation of self-respect. Self-respect is not something you simply have or don't have. It is built through action. And when you begin to respect yourself through consistent steps, a real shift happens. You begin to see yourself as someone who keeps their word, who finishes what they start, someone who can be trusted with big goals and serious responsibilities. The process of rebuilding yourself requires a high level of awareness of your inner dialogue. Right now, there's a voice in your head commenting on everything that happens. It may agree, argue, analyze, or compare. That voice is not you. You are the one who hears it. You are the observer of your thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. Realizing this gives you tremendous power. You understand that you can choose which thoughts to support and which to let go of, like clouds passing by. Imagine that you are the CEO of your own life. You're responsible for your health, finances, relationships, career, and growth. If a department in a company were performing poorly, a good leader wouldn't look for excuses. They would identify the cause, create a plan, and follow it through to results. But most people behave differently when it comes to their own lives. They ignore problems until they turn to crises, repeat the same mistakes, fail to invest in their development, blame external circumstances, and accept mediocrity as something inevitable. When you begin to treat yourself as a valuable project, everything changes. You start asking different questions, not, why is this happening to me? But what can I learn from this? Not, why isn't it working? But what needs to change? Better questions lead to better answers. Better answers lead to better actions, and actions lead to better results. The formula is simple, but applying it requires effort. It's easier to stay where you are, complain, and wait for change to come from the outside. But that's not why you're here. You're ready to act. You are ready to take responsibility and stop being a passenger in your own life. You are ready to take the wheel. And that decision is the beginning of everything. When you decide to change, you say, I don't have to remain who I've been. You acknowledge, the past does not define the future. You declare your ability to change, grow, and become who you were always capable of being. But there is something people rarely talk about. This process will require you to part with the parts of yourself you've identified with for years. You may have to let go of the belief, I'm not a morning person, if your discipline requires early wake UPS. You may have to release the belief, I'm bad with money, if financial freedom is part of your path. You may have to abandon the idea, I'm a shy person, if your goals require your voice and visibility. The stories we tell ourselves about ourselves are not facts. They are beliefs repeated so many times that they begin to feel like truth. But beliefs can be changed, stories can be rewritten, and identity can be updated. The only question is whether you are willing to let go of your familiar self-image to make room for the person you are becoming. This is where most people get stuck. They want a different life without changing themselves. They want different results while keeping the same habits, the same mindset, the same actions and reactions. But transformation doesn't work that way. You cannot make a breakthrough without breaking something. And what must be broken is the previous version of you. It's important to understand the person you are becoming already exists within you. This is not someone you need to create from scratch, but someone you need to reveal. Imagine a sculptor and a block of marble. The The sculpture is already inside the stone. The sculptor's task is to remove everything unnecessary. Your task is to remove everything that is not you. Every limiting belief, remove it. Every habit that pulls you backward, eliminate it. Every relationship that drains your energy, release it. Every thought pattern that diminishes you, let it go. This requires radical honesty with yourself. Look at yourself directly and acknowledge not only your strengths, but also your weaknesses. Not for self-criticism, but for understanding and improvement. Be willing to admit where you've lied to yourself, where you've made excuses, where you've played the victim even though you could influence the situation. Honesty is the foundation of transformation. You cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. You cannot improve what you do not measure. You cannot heal what you're not willing to face. And you cannot become who you are meant to be while pretending to be someone else. The power of honesty lies in the fact that it immediately puts you ahead of most people who continue living in denial. Many prefer to tolerate familiar dysfunction rather than go through the discomfort of looking at themselves honestly. But that is not your path. You are ready to face the truth, even if it feels unpleasant at first. Truth may hurt, but ultimately it always frees you. The temporary discomfort of acknowledging reality is nothing compared to the lifelong discomfort of staying the same. Once you develop the courage to be honest with yourself, the next step is the discipline to act according to that honesty. Awareness without action is just entertainment. Understanding without application is an illusion. You can have any level of awareness, but if you don't turn it into consistent action, nothing will change. Discipline is not punishment. It is an expression of deep self-love when you do what is best for you, even when you don't feel like it. This is the clear understanding of who you are becoming and what you are willing to sacrifice to get there. Many people think discipline restricts them, but in reality, it sets them free. Over time, it gives you more time for what matters, more financial freedom, more energy, and greater mental clarity. Discipline begins with small daily actions that seem insignificant at first, but eventually create powerful results. It's a made bed, a glass of water in the morning, a phone kept outside your workspace, a consistent sleep schedule. It's working out even when you don't feel like it. It's choosing food that supports your body rather than just satisfying cravings. Every time you choose discipline over the easy path, you rewire your brain for success. You prove to yourself that you are someone who follows through. You develop self-control that will serve you in every area of life. But discipline alone is not enough. You need vision, a clear and inspiring picture of who you are becoming and why. Without it, discipline turns into a heavy obligation. Without vision, you simply perform actions without a deeper reason pulling you forward. Your vision must be stronger than your current circumstances, problems, and fears. It must be powerful enough to lead you forward even when everything around you pulls you back. And by vision, I don't mean vague desires like, I want to be successful or I want to be happy. I'm talking about a clear, detailed, emotionally rich picture of your life. What does your ideal day look like? What do you do? How do you spend your time? What are your relationships like? How do you feel in your body? What impact do you make? The clearer and more vivid this vision is, the more power it has to carry you through the inevitable challenges. When you face obstacles, and you will, your vision becomes the compass that guides you through any storm. But vision alone is not enough. You must develop emotional intelligence to handle the feelings that arise during transformation. You will inevitably face emotions you don't want to feel: fear, doubt, disappointment, loneliness, overwhelm. These emotions are not problems to eliminate. They are part of the journey to be experienced. The difference between those who change their lives and those who give up is not the absence of difficult emotions, but the ability to keep moving despite them. Emotional intelligence is the ability to feel without becoming a hostage to your emotions. It's the ability to say, "I'm scared," and act anyway. To acknowledge doubt and keep going. To notice discomfort and stay with it, knowing it is temporary and necessary. Many people remain emotionally immature. At the slightest discomfort, they seek quick relief, even if it destroys their long-term goals. They eat to numb stress, spend money they don't have, avoid action, and abandon what they started. Emotional maturity is the ability to withstand difficult feelings without running from them. It is the ability to stay in uncertainty, fear, and discomfort while continuing to move forward. This is perhaps the most important skill in transformation, acting regardless of how you feel. If you wait for motivation, you may wait forever. If you wait for confidence, you may never begin. If you wait to feel ready, readiness may never come. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Confidence comes through action. Readiness is a myth. It forms in the process. People who successfully change their lives don't wait for the right state. They create it through action. And this brings us to an important aspect. You must become your own source of motivation. You cannot rely on external factors. They are unstable. Other people have their own concerns. Circumstances change. Opportunities come and go. The only constant is you. That's why it's essential to learn to be your own support, to build internal standards that don't depend on others' opinions, to value your own view of yourself more than the opinions of those around you, to acknowledge your progress even when no one else sees it, to support yourself in difficult moments and lift yourself after setbacks. This level of independence may feel like loneliness, but in reality, it creates the foundation for healthy relationships. When you no longer need external validation, you begin to build relationships not from need, but from inner wholeness. Also be prepared for the fact that not everyone will understand you. As you grow, not everyone will accept your changes. Some will try to pull you back because your progress triggers their own discomfort. Some will doubt you or criticize you. But this is not about you. It reflects their limitations. Their reactions reveal their fears and insecurities. Your task is to stay true to your path, even if others don't share it. Be ready to stand out, to be different, to do what others postpone. Be ready for temporary solitude, because growth often happens that way. If this resonates with you, right? My energy creates my reality. This is not just a phrase, it is an intention. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe so you don't miss new practices.